Scott and Catherine met in high school when the teenager and his parents moved to the neighborhood from out of town. The young people started dating and spent a lot of time together. After high school graduation, the long-awaited event happened in the form of their first kiss. It was then that they decided they wanted to live together and build a future together. The guy had to go to serve in the army, so the lovers had to break up for a while. Scott had been a programmer for several years, so he felt able to provide for his family even without higher education. The girl was sad, but she fully supported such a decision and promised to wait for him from the army. Absence for a year can be considered a trifle, as in the past women had to wait much longer for their mates to return. Today, there is mobile communication and other ways to communicate, which can make the parting easier. The oath was taken, and the lovers communicated almost every night via Messenger. Catherine went to university as an accounting major and became completely absorbed in her studies. She got a part-time job in a catering establishment, where she spent her time on the weekends. This would allow her to save money, and she did not want to sit at home alone. Many of her friends had left for other cities, and so her social circle had narrowed considerably. She was always considered beautiful, and her slender figure inevitably attracted the stronger sex. Clark, who was considered a longtime friend of Scott's, came to the place from time to time. He obviously kept an eye on her, controlling the fact that she had no suitors. Sometimes the young man met her after graduation, which made the girl feel uncomfortable. Clark often referred to Catherine as the hottie any guy would hit on. Scott was always very angry and jealous of such phrases. The forced separation made him eager to return home as soon as possible. The long-awaited day finally arrived, and the conscript returned to his girlfriend. Catherine passed the test of time and did not succumb to the advances of other guys. The lovers' relationship became stronger, and the young man noted the rightness of his choice of the chosen one. He was already thinking that it was time to make a proposal and already bought an engagement ring. At first, he wanted to think of an original way, but he could not think of any suitable way. Most of the traditional ways seemed trivial to him, while the more interesting ones were quite expensive. The guy just started to create programs for which he was paid a small fee. One day, he just couldn't stand it and asked a long-awaited question to which he expected to hear a positive answer. He took a blue velvet box out of his pocket, and his companion blushed and became very embarrassed. The girl began to bite her lips and did not say a word. Such a reaction embarrassed the young man, and his head was filled with foolish thoughts of adultery. Catherine asked for time to think, which surprised her fiancé even more. If she had someone on the side, it would be a terrible blow for him to hear such news. Scott expressed his consent in a quiet voice, and the next day the girl promised to stay with him late. The young man strongly hoped that just in the evening she would give a positive answer. He did not understand what was happening, since she had been waiting for him for a year. During the whole day he had been in a tense state, and when she arrived he just could not ask her a straight question. Until 24 hours ago, he had been quite sure of getting a positive answer and saying, "I love her too," in return. Catherine stayed at Scott's until morning, and the night offered much affection and tenderness. Before going to bed, the girl whispered "thank you" and then fell asleep quietly. The guy was in a state of confusion and total confusion. He could not sleep a wink because his head was filled with thoughts. He even had the idea to get into her cell phone and check her messages. He could not do anything like that because he wanted to be able to trust his girlfriend. The guy decided that he would ask the question again in the morning and insist on getting a specific answer. Scott woke up quite early, and Catherine was not there. He felt dizzy, but suddenly he heard noises in the kitchen. He crept quietly on tiptoe and saw the girl, who was fussing and trying to fix the torn curtain. Scott called softly to his beloved, for he feared fright in her falling. The girl frowned a little, and only then did the boy notice the letters attached to the tulle. They spoke of her consent to marriage, which made the guy feel like a happy man. The guy swiftly jumped up to the girl and enclosed her in his strong, manly embrace. He began to talk about how he was very afraid of rejection and was very worried. The girl laughed and confessed that she had found the ring almost 2 weeks ago. She had waited a long time for the proposal and had already begun to doubt to whom the jewelry was intended. For such a long time she agonized, and then she decided to get a little payback. The guy pressed her lover even tighter and gave her a passionate kiss.